Oh no, I've hit the wrong button. There we go, there's the right button. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to Respawn Aim Fire, the kick-ass irreverent gaming podcast brought to you by Affable Idiots. I almost forgot the name of the show there for a second. I was just thinking about avocados and abogados and el gatos, which are cats, avocados, and lawyers. Not in that order. The person detailing those thoughts to you over audio right now into your ear, abogados, is Chad Michaelinis. Over here, whispering into your lawyer cat, abogados, is Adam Gumbert. I was going to give you a middle name, but I also already did the abogado thing. Hey, what's up, Adam?
Avocados from Mexico.
Yeah.
That's a commercial.
Yeah.
That's a commercial? Oh.
Yeah. For avocados. I think it's just the avocado company. And they're like, we're going to have a little jingle, and it's avocados from Mexico. And then it says avocados on the TV screen. That is what I have seen multiple times on the television.
Okay. If you're looking at the television once and it's on and you blink, does that count as seeing it twice on the television?
Tough.
Also joining us is RAF regular Alex El Gato.
Hey, I've been thinking about this over the course of the past few minutes. One of the upcoming Pokemon that's going to be available in the upcoming Pokemon games Scarlet and Violet is, of course, Sprigatito, the grass-type kitten Pokemon. What if it evolves into like an avocado-themed cat? What if it becomes Sprigato Avocado or whatever?
Oh, Weed Cat becomes Guacamole Cat, Chips and Salsa Cat.
And actually, it really works out because we were actually researching this before the show. Avocado is part of the stone fruit family, we think, which means that it could become like a grass rock type Pokemon.
Holy shit, you're right. Holy shit. Also, spoilers, we had a very interesting discussion that we are just now showing you the ass end of, and we are going to put that discussion, it was recorded on the ass end of this podcast. Something to look forward to.
It's thrilling.
It's so good. It's so good. You're going to be listening to him and be like, I'm very glad I continued to listen to this content. You can catch us right now live. If you're listening right now, you're like, when and where are you? What have I done to get here? And how do I reproduce that series of events to make sure I do it again? Well, on Sunday evenings, around 8:30 ET, you can go to twitch.tv/AffableIdiots. Sorry, it's going to be a good episode. And then if you're listening to this and it's not live, and you're like, I'm listening to this whenever the fuck I want. How do I do that again, but closer to when they ideally wanted me to? You can go to YouTube and podcast services Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. That's when we usually post these episodes, etc., etc. We've got a bunch coming up today. We're going to talk about Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. We're going to talk about MultiVersus. We're going to talk about more avocado stuff. I'm sure it's going to come up again. Probably not any more abogado stuff, which is Spanish for lawyer. And, in the chat, Adam Gumby writes, they on one today. Thank you, Adam. It's like whenever you're a performing artist at a bar or something like that, and you like put a $1 bill in the tip jar just to let people know, hey, you should tip.
Like, hey, look, there's money in here.
Yeah, people are chatting about those Respawn Aim Fire guys. All right. But first today, we are going into our main quest, where we're going to talk about the Annapurna Showcase. Annapurna recently released a game about a cat. El gato en español. Rhymes with avocado, el gato, abogado. This is from Rebecca Valentine at IGN, who famously hates Holden and blocked him on Twitter.
Jesus.
Very true story, by the way.
Very true story. I don't know if she hates him, but he is blocked. All right, here's the deal for this. I'm going to read through what was announced. I totally forgot it happened, and the only thing I saw in announcements were the What Remains of Edith Finch stuff. So I'm going to rely on both of your observations about if I read something and you're like, hey, that's something I would like to mention more about, or you saw something that has a cool art style, etc., etc. Please tell me to shut up and talk about it. So, first up, from Outer Loop Games, the makers of Falcon Age, that PSVR game that turned standalone game, we've got a new, deeper look at Thirsty Suitors, an upcoming RPG that mixes elements of dating sims, turn-based battles, and skateboarding mechanics. Thirsty Suitors will be released for PC, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox Game Pass. is a trend you will see much, much more of. Just reading that, I'm already turned on. Thirsty
you see
suitors,
it's highlighted.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dating sims, RPGs, skateboards, all the recipe for a good time.
I don't know. It was shown before. I've seen, I don't remember what 1,800 summer games showcases there were, but this is one of the things from Annapurna I'm interested in. I don't know how it's turning out, if I can stick with it, but the idea of it and kind of like the style and everything looks really cool. It's just like, oh yeah, it reminds me, it's like Scott Pilgrim, but in a different setting, kind of an idea.
Oh,
that's what I'm reading from it. But Alex, you also have highlighted the word thirsty suitors. Do you have anything to say about it?
I think this was a real solid ass second look at this game. I think it looks surprisingly solid. Who knows if I'll ever play it, but it gets the cozy patented seal of approval.
Looks dope.
I also highlighted it, but it's because I wanted to emphasize that it's not like the Scott Pilgrim game, I think is not what you were intending.
No.
Which is,
Scott Pilgrim, the movie with Michael Cera specifically.
Right.
That's exactly what it's like.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, not a comic book. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, nerds. Hindsight is a story-focused game going through a woman's life from birth to present day. Honestly, story-focused, that's their bread and butter over at Annapurna, so this one's got me feeling randy. From birth to present day, where physical objects can become literal windows into the past. Out August 4th for iOS, Nintendo Switch, and PC via Steam. Thank the Lord! That is next week, and it gives me something else to play on my iPad. Perf.
Boom. There you go.
I'm going to look up screenshots for it real quick. Did this do anything for y'all?
No.
Nah.
Hindsight game.
I'll go ahead and say it now.
Wait a minute. There's a woman with 4 eyes and a sword on the... Oh, no. This is a game called Hindsight 2020. It's a different game.
Different game. Come on, man. Get it together. Annapurna, I'll go ahead and say this at the top. First of all, this is a Devolver Digital household, right? If we're going to play silly indie games, I want to play Devolver Digital. Annapurna is 50-50, where it's like, oh, it's either I like it, it's cool, or it's like, oh, we're so artsy, look how cool and artsy we are, and I'm like, your game is trash, please stop. It's like watching an A24 movie where it's like, this is going to be good or trash, and Devolver Digital is Adult Swim, where it's like, they're going to be silly and wild. Some of it won't hit, but most of it is pretty fun.
Yeah, sometimes I like the A24 comparison is good, because sometimes you walk in and it's like a Hereditary, and you're just like blown away. This is incredible. Toni Collette, wow. And then sometimes you walk in and it's the movie X that came out that looked like it was going to be a cool horror movie. Turns out it's just an excuse to watch a bunch of old people have sex in really gross ways. Not a good
Jesus.
movie. Yeah, don't watch that movie. It's so
But
uncomfortable.
Adult Swim, you'll either get Rick and Morty or you'll get Too Many Cooks. You're always having a good time.
There's a new project.
I gotta be honest.
Oh, sorry. Go, Alex.
I just want to say very quickly, I feel like Hindsight could benefit from an art style that didn't feel very Me Too-ish. Looking over it, I'm like, I feel like I've seen a lot of games that look like this, especially at like little like indie fairs, living here in Montreal. And, ultimately, if that was their, creative intention with this game, I can't begrudge them for that. But yeah, I couldn't get jazzed looking at this one.
Yeah, it's got that really very flat 3D art style, no shadows on it, very like polygonal kind of looking textures and stuff like that. So it definitely looks like your typical indie game on a budget game, almost. But hopefully it's good. I'll play it unless it's $45,000, and then I won't play it.
Well, that's too much.
That is too much for this game. So I'd pay double that for The Last of Us Part 1 remake.
$500 for Last of Us.
A new project from the creators of Kentucky Route Zero. The studio is now working on a brand new project, though we didn't see a trailer. We did get a look at the team working on modeling a dog. Sold. Dogs in it. Good. And the team gave a handful of descriptions of the project, including that it's the first project where Cardboard Computer is, quote, really focusing on performance as a core part of the piece, and that it has a different tempo from Kentucky Route Zero.
All right, hear me on this.
Yes.
They say that it's got a different tempo from Kentucky Route Zero. What's a video game franchise that has a very different tempo from Kentucky Route Zero?
Katana Zero.
Call of Duty.
Oh.
Nope, Call of Duty. They say that they're really focusing on performance as a core part of the piece. What game does performance really matter, where you really want those FPS values really juiced up? Call of Duty. Finally, we got to see them working on modeling a dog. When was the last time people got really excited when a trailer showed a dog being modeled in it? A Call of Duty game. I don't remember which one it was, but one of the Call of Duties in there, Ghost, that's it.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, I don't know about this Call of Duty Ghost game, but holy shit, there's a dog in this one. Guys, I think the evidence is right in front of us.
Holy shit. The next Call of Duty takes place in Kentucky.
Yeah, there you go.
Whoa, shit.
Just like Kingsman. I don't know about all that, but Kentucky Route Zero, very good game, spoken very highly of. So I'm excited to see what these guys do next.
Yeah,
this is one of the A24 movies that are good, unlike the 17 others I can name that are trash.
This game, whatever it ends up being, it just needs to be better than Call of Duty Ghost, and I will probably play it.
That's not hard.
Because, no joke, I actually bought Call of Duty Ghost secondhand. I had every intention of seeing it to the end, despite it not being very good, and I straight up encountered a game-breaking bug halfway through that I couldn't get past.
Oh, nice. Balls. Or as I like to say, avocados.
Avocados.
Bounty Star, The Morose Tale of Graveyard Clem, appears to be an Old West-styled shooter where the main character is a woman who pilots a cool mech. There's a test to see whether you're a misogynist. When I said Graveyard Clem, did you think of a man or a woman? Huh? Huh? The doctor's a woman. That's the twist at the end of the joke. Women can have sons, too. A woman who pilots a cool mech, almost Titanfall-esque, and it's all set to music by Brothers Edge. Bounty Star will be out sometime next year for PlayStation, PC, via Steam, and Xbox Game Pass.
Besides the misogyny, this looked really cool. I do. I mean, it's just like, Old West. It's literally just like, hey, Wild West, but you have a mech. All right, cool.
Yeah.
It's an interesting premise.
Dope. Hopefully that's a good one, and not like that A24 movie Men, where it's just a bunch of really fucked up, broken men coming out of vaginas that sprout on each other's bodies and slithering across the floor until another one comes out of a vagina on their body. Spoilers for the movie Men.
That really what happens in that movie?
That is exactly how the movie ends. And then the last man comes out of a vagina on another man's body that sprouts out of nowhere. He hobbles himself. Well,
same actor.
The same man births himself, and then, like 3 or 4 times, and then the final one is her ex, who comes out of the other man, and they sit on the couch together. Weird fucking movie. Not a good one.
Indie movies, Alex. Indie movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Outer Wilds is getting a 60 frames per second update for Xbox Series X and S and PS5. The update is free and lands on September 15th. People love Outer Wilds.
Not me.
They not Outer Worlds, although people love Outer Worlds as well. But yeah, Outer Wilds was definitely not my cup of tea either. So, but good for people who love it.
60 FPS is always fun, but yeah, I will never play this game again. I'm good.
Part of what I heard about this game is that it's one of those that, like, the experience of discovering it and being surprised by it, like, that is the game. So it almost leads me to say, like, are people going to play this again with the new update? Is it one of those replayable games, or is everything spoiled for you up front? Who knows?
Maybe the DLC. If you hadn't played the DLC yet and you liked the original game, maybe playing the DLC in 60 FPS would be cool.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. Here comes some of the news that I had heard via Twitter. A montage including The Pathless, Maquette, and Solar Ash played that revealed some new platform releases for all 3 games. The Pathless is headed to Xbox and Switch this winter. I didn't realize it wasn't already on those, but swell. Pretty cool game. Maquette will be on Game Pass and Switch also this winter, and Solar Ash is headed to Steam and Game Pass on December 6th.
I did not care much for Maquette at all when I played it on PS5. Maybe some other people will.
Was that a free PS Plus?
I want to say that yes,
maybe
it was.
I feel like it was. That's one with Bryce Dallas Howard as a narrator?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was not a PS Plus game, but it was like really cheap or something like that. Or it was only like, my friend Audrey told me it's like a 2-hour platinum trophy, and I was like, fuck yeah. And then I never played it. But
was it maybe a PS Plus game, like not at release, but like a few months afterwards?
Oh, maybe.
I think it was one of those situations. In any case, yeah, did not love that game. Hope that other people find some enjoyment in it, but I did not love it.
I was wrong on all counts. It is a PS5 launch PS Plus game. Came out in March on PS Plus.
There we go.
Claimed it, never played it.
Yep, same.
Yeah.
Pathless, though, is a pretty dope game.
Better puzzle games on there.
Pathless controls really well. I played it on
fun.
iOS because it was part of Apple Arcade, and I was like, again, trying to find something to play on my device. It controls really cool, but it's a puzzle game, and I don't like puzzles. So I played it for about an hour and said, no thanks. But cool game. What Remains of Edith Finch? That's a good game. That's a kick-ass game. It's getting a 4K 60 FPS upgrade for Xbox Series X and S and PS5. The upgrade is free, asterisk, and surprise, it's out now. The asterisk is, if you got it for free as part of PlayStation Plus, the upgrade is not free.
Shocker.
Yep. And then finally, the show concluded with the reveal of a game from Great Ape Games called The Lost Wild. The Lost Wild appears to be some sort of survival horror game featuring dino DNA. We get a look from at a first-person view of a dense jungle full of dinos and a scared player character consulting a compass. Y'all talk about Lost Wild while I get this dope piece of shit that I just got. Hold on.
Okay. Cool. Did you see this? It looked really neat. I was like, oh shit, literally a survival game where you're in Jurassic Park by yourself. Very cool to me. I think it's a good way to end the show.
I mean,
Look at this.
Games like these will, always remain in the shadow of that one dinosaur game that has Vin Diesel in it. But, you gotta give credit where credit's due.
By the way, great piece of art, Chad.
Thank you. This is one of those displate metal posters. It was a limited edition one, and it's got like this cool fancy like texture to it and shit like that too. I don't know if you can tell from the light going across it.
Yeah,
and it has like if you shine a black light on it, then it has some kind of effect. I don't have a black light in my house, but
Yeah, who does that but weirdos, right?
magnetic. Just chuck it at the wall and it sticks up there with magnets. It's fancy. I love it.
I will say I'm rewatching the trailer right now for The Lost Wild. All jokes aside, there is kind of a lack of games out there. Obviously, there are no shortage of games that feature dinosaurs, but there is kind of a lack of games that specifically feature the Jurassic Park premise of it's modern day and we figured out how to bring dinosaurs back. And now, spaghetti-o, the dinosaurs are on the loose. I feel like most other dinosaur games are like Turok, where it's in like a fantasy world or on another planet. I don't feel like there are enough games that are like, hey, it's modern time. You got to make do with what we have in the 21st century to kill them dinos.
Especially not survival
I think that's
horror,
pretty cool.
because all those other games with dinosaurs are like shoot 800 raptors, and this one is like the T-Rex is gonna get you, and you can't fight it. Which I think is cool.
I think I've mentioned this on the show before, but one of the scary, outside of playing Resident Evil 7 entirely in VR, one of the scariest VR experiences I've had is in Robinson the Journey. And there's a part in it where you have to stealthily, there's velociraptors in this wreckage, and you have to like stealthily make your way around past them to get to whatever you're trying to get to. Oh, that's scary as shit. Feels right out of Jurassic Park.
Yeah, spooky times. Overall, again, I'm not a super huge Annapurna fan. It's not that I'm not a fan. It's a very 50-50. They're like, I'm into it, or like, this is too artsy. You're trying too hard. But I thought the show was pretty good. Watching all the trailers afterwards, good announcements, some good shows, or good games shown. I think it's pretty cool. Good times.
Yeah, this was great. I'd say this is up there with like your average PlayStation. What do they call those now? Not PlayStation.
State of Play.
State of Plays, or like a Nintendo Direct. I'd say this is kind of right up there with one of those in terms of caliber of announcements and excite factor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's our main quest. We're going to move on now to a segment called Playtime, where we talk about what we played this week. Now, hold on. There's a particular order that I want to do this in because I want our talk about MultiVersus to go into the MultiVersus thing.
Okay.
So here's what I'm going to do. I did not play MultiVersus because I forgot it was out, and I'm an idiot. So I'll go first, and then both of you just played Metal Wolf Chaos XD and MultiVersus. So we'll transition to y'all as we talk about MultiVersus.
Sounds good.
Y'all, I finished-ish asterisk Deathloop this week. I got to the final run, figured out the whole thing about spoilers and the girl. I'm not going to spoil anything, but yeah. I got through it, and then I was like, all right, final run, kill all the Visionaries in one run. Got to the very end, spent about an hour sneaking my way through that little party, And then I'm like, I gotta pee before I engage some more of these people.
Oh no.
Go pee. Come back. Boop. Doesn't unpause. Boop. Doesn't unpause. Hit the circle. Doesn't do anything. Doesn't do anything. Nothing's responsive. PlayStation button. Go back to the main screen. Come back. Boop. Nothing happens. Yes, Alex, that was my exact face. Yes. Terrible. Like, it was like, and I was like, I'm not about to go sneak all the way back through this. So I was like, all right. I feel like I played enough to get to the end of the game that I deserve to watch the end on YouTube. And then I forgot to watch the end on YouTube, so I don't know how it ends. But I will watch the end on YouTube now that I'm talking about it again because I forgot about it. So, Deathloop, great game. Had a Bethesda buggy moment at the end, but impressed by it. Liked it a lot.
No joke. I experienced like not a bug, but something almost identical to what you experienced, where light spoilers for the end of this game, you get into that one room with that one person and you got to make a choice in terms of what you want to do or not want to do in there. And I somehow screwed it up, and so I had to restart the day from the beginning again to get a proper ending, because I was like stuck in that room or something like that. What's funny is that to get the platinum trophy for the game, you end up having to replay through that final day like a dozen more times and get like really freaking good at killing all those people. There's a trophy where you have to kill the 3 visionaries at the last party without anybody else being alerted to your presence.
How? What? No. Get out of here. 0 out of 10.
It's actually not as difficult as you would think it to be, but it does require a little bit of practice. You got to use that one ability that kills like a whole bunch of people that are linked together at the same time.
Oh, Nexus.
Because the idea is that you can kill as many people as you need to, so long as A, you make sure that you kill the 3 main targets, and B, nobody is ever alerted to you being there.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
you got to get crafty with that stuff.
I never used any of the powers except for invisibility. So I forgot Nexus was a thing. So
invisibility.
Yeah. I was Sneak McGillicuddy in that game, and I was good at it.
I sneaked around by blinking everywhere. They're like, hey, there's a noise. No, I am 20 feet away immediately on a roof. You didn't see me.
Oh, that would have been helpful. Played more Destiny. Solstice is here. Yay. Shiny armor. Woohoo. Yummy. Played some more Final Fantasy 1 Pixel Remaster on my iPhone today while I was on the T-Red mill. And then
By the way, Chad,
yeah. Yes.
I hate you. Again, everyone knows we have... I don't actually hate you. Okay. Don't hurt yourself, or don't be like shocked. Everyone knows we have a doc where we just put the initials of the game so that people don't notice. It's Final Fantasy 1 Pixel Remaster, but you put an O instead of the numerical one. I'm not a fan of that.
I had to throw you off course.
I was going to say, these abbreviations are already confusing enough. And so when you get the abbreviation wrong, it's like, what the hell did you play? FFLPR?
I gotta keep you guessing because it's always the same shit for me every single week. It's variations on Destiny and Deathloop, and that's it.
Well, when there's a D, I definitely know what it is, you know. But
and there was that one week when I played Diablo Immortal as well. So I put DI, but I did like I capital, so it looked like D1 maybe, and then I did DII, D2 for Destiny 2. And so I was like, oh, what are all these Ds?
Yeah, there's a lot of Ds.
Real quick, how is Final Fantasy number 1?
Honestly, it's a JRPG. I mean, it's a good JRPG.
Okay.
And it's exactly what you would expect from a Final Fantasy RPG. The only thing that surprised me, I told Adam about this a few weeks ago, the only thing that surprised me was that this was very obviously their first attempt at this, and it was a straight ripoff of Dungeons and Dragons from like... Eventually, Final Fantasy became their own thing, and they're like, hey, we have...
You mean Dragon Quest, right?
No.
No, he was saying like the systems are specifically dungeon, like the way that magic works in Dungeons and Dragons is exactly how the magic works.
That's really what I'm referencing. Like it's not like there are not summons, there's no like MP.
Right, got it.
You have spell slots, you can use a total number of each spell slot each time. You have to memorize certain spells to those spell slots, and it was like, oh shit, this is Dungeons and Dragons as fuck. And then eventually they're like, hey, let's make Final Fantasy its own thing and experiment with magic differently every single time.
How about mana and summoning Gaia?
Right? And then what if we had spells as playing cards and you have to find them in rocks? I was like, well, that's the shittiest system. That's why no one plays Final Fantasy 8.
Or whatever?
No, it's Final Fantasy 8.
Oh, 8.
And then Metal Wolf Chaos XD I played for approximately 1 hour and said... we'll talk about this later. Because that's our barf game for the month. That's backlog
you had so much trouble.
Oh, dude. We'll talk about it more on a barf episode. But yeah, I did not have a fun time with that hour, and then I died because I ran out of ammo, and I said there is no way that I'm going back and shooting down this entire building with a pistol again for 7 or 8 minutes so that I can conserve enough ammo to fight this tank.
Don't, Chad, just cut your thoughts short right here because I have so much that I want to say, but we're going to accidentally do our barf episode if we get into it right here and right now.
And we don't want to accidentally barf in the middle of our podcast. Okay.
Never.
Oh, no.
So yeah, we'll talk about that later this week. So let's turn it over to you two who played the same things. We'll just obligatorily say you played Metal Wolf Chaos XD as well. MultiVersus. Both of you talk about MultiVersus, starting with Alex.
MultiVersus. I was not originally planning on playing this game, but I downloaded it because Kind of Funny was doing a little community game night on their official Discord server, and some other friends that I knew wanted to play it. This is a pretty fun game. I don't absolutely love it. I think there is that extra little level of TLC that you come to expect out of a Smash Bros. Game that this game doesn't quite have. I think the menus are a little confusing to navigate. I think that the just overall feel of the characters isn't quite there, but I honestly have been having a lot of fun with it. It's clear that a lot of thought has gone into coming up with each character's kit and having it kind of reflect that character's, overall attributes and their kind of long-standing history. I've been having a lot of fun playing as Superman, believe it or not, and not just because, of course, he's this canonically OP character. Superman, real slow on the ground. He struts around in the same way that he struts at the beginning of the opening intro for the Justice League cartoon. But he has a lot of attacks that take his snail's pace to a Speedy Gonzalez pace, depending on what moves you use. And I just found him really kind of fun to kind of get into. Didn't score up a lot of wins because a lot of people have been playing this game for quite a bit and quite, wrapping their heads around the meta. But I enjoyed it. I'm
downloading it right now from my phone to my PlayStation so that I will play it in the next week. Adam,
cool.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, I had a great time. I've been playing a lot. I'm leveled up pretty high. Got a lot of characters leveled up high. I will agree that it is a different feeling from Smash Brothers, where it feels a little heavier, but 10% heavier. It wouldn't be awful. I think it's a little bit of an adjustment to that. And it is still technically early access, so I forgive them of any little things. The menus do not make sense, and half the things are grayed out because it's still early access.
Yeah.
But when I get down to playing the game and playing on the stages, and especially the 2-on-2, the synergy stuff, I think really, really works. So I was playing, again, I played so much of this game. I'm level 13 and my battle pass is already maxed out. And it's been, 4 days.
Damn.
My son also played on my profile for about 8 hours, so that helped.
God, that's what I need to do. I need to have a kid so he can level up my battle pass on
have shit. A child do it for you, absolutely. Yeah. It's you get Wonder Woman, right? Amazonian Gal Gadot, looks like her a little bit, and she's got this move where she shields you and her teammate, and you don't get damage from the next hit. So you're fighting. I'm taking care of this person. Someone's coming with a charged up haymaker. Boom! I click that down. We're both protected, and then you wall up on them. There's a lot of little synergy stuff with the characters. It's fun,
and the game's tutorials really do make a point of underscoring that. And that is definitely a way in which this game really kind of sets itself apart from the likes of Smash Bros. In a really good way. Smash Bros. Melee, the original Smash Bros. Have been around for decades now, and yet I can't hear about people being hey, we're doing competitive 2v2 matches. And this game right out the gate is really trying to promote that.
Yeah.
Do they control? How do you control two people? Are you switching back and forth like Marvel vs. Capcom style, or do you have?
Yeah, 2 players versus 2 players.
2 people.
Oh, got it. Okay, got it. It's not one person controlling 2 characters.
So technically, you could just be I'm fighting my own, but it helps if you work with your teammates. Okay. Because there are characters who are their entire move, or they have entire moves that are just for connecting to another player and helping another player out. But no, I'm having a great time. Again, Superman, not expecting to like him. Shaggy's great, of course, just throwing those knees all over the place, going Ultra Instinct. I really enjoy basically all the characters. The characters I never thought I was going to like that I'm like, oh, this character's really cool and interesting. And I mean, we've got stories about it coming up. It's pretty interesting and a pretty big deal. I'm just ready for the launch, the official launch. I believe it's like August 9th, and I think we're going to get Morty that day, seems like.
Hell
so I'm ready to play some Morty and keep going. But yeah, I love it. I'm having a great time. I'm going to keep playing it for sure.
It seems like the rest of the world agrees with you, Adam, that it's a hit. Oh. This is from Ryan Leston at IGN. Brand new platform fighter MultiVersus is already hitting huge player numbers and nearing the tops of console charts. The new fighting game from Warner Bros. Has seen some staggering numbers, reaching a peak of 144,456 concurrent players yesterday on Steam alone. This puts the game ahead of the likes of Warframe and Rust. MultiVersus is also proving to be...
Chad, what was the last one?
And it's ahead of Destiny 2.
Oh.
MultiVersus is also proving to be very popular on consoles, with the game creeping into the Xbox most played list. It's also currently sitting at second place on the Series X and S top free games, only usurped by Fall Guys. On PlayStation, a similar story, appearing second on the PS5's most downloaded list, only beaten at the top spot by, quote, that cat game, aka Stray. Which is free to download for PS Plus Extra or Premium subscribers. And a little caveat here about the game, too. Here's another story from Andy Robinson at VGC. MultiVersus players unlocked a new stage real fast. The MultiVersus players have unlocked the new Rick and Morty themed stage after completing a community challenge in just a few hours. The Cromulon stage required players to collectively accrue more than 10 million ringouts in the free-to-play brawler, which they managed to do in just 3 hours after the challenge was announced on social media.
Wild.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Also, a really cool level. You'll like this, Chad. So they don't... I don't think they do it to the level of Smash Brothers, but you know, Smash Brothers is very much like the music is really cool, and it's like, oh, here's all orchestral versions of every franchise in Smash Brothers. So they have an orchestral version of the Rick and Morty theme that plays in the background
Hell yeah.
of the Cromulon stage, and it's pretty cool.
And it's the music across the board is really good for that reason.
Does those guys have you played the new Cromulon's map, Adam? Yeah. Does Crumbopulous Michael make an appearance?
I think he's in the... No, it's just the... They don't say anything, but they are... It is the stage like that they do Swifty on, and then there's like big speakers and you can knock them down.
Shit on the floor.
Pull out your pants, shit on the floor, get Swifty. Yeah, great.
Bend over, raise up posterior.
And it's just the big heads. The big heads in the...
Yeah, show me what you got, heads.
Yeah. Show me what you got. Yeah, it's real fun. Like I said, that orchestral version of the Rick and Morty theme is like, oh, that's really fun here in the background. And I saw a little leak because you like one MultiVersus tweet and then Twitter's like, here's the algorithm, all MultiVersus all the time. There was like a leak for Rick, and his like taunt is him like when he's singing, like going back and forth with the microphone, singing Swifty. That's his taunt. So I'm like, that's pretty fun. I'll do that.
I love it. Dope. I'm excited to play it. It is on my PlayStation, so when I boot it up to play Destiny, it will be there guilting me. All right. So, speaking of guilt, I don't know.
Getting Swifty?
Speaking of shitting on the floor, reports on GTA 6 from Eddie McCutch at GameSpot.
Okay.
That's
a transition.
It's a hot
Trevor
dance.
definitely shit on the floor in GTA 5. 100%.
Yeah, see, there you go. I'm sure. All right. GTA 6 will feature a female playable protagonist. Do you remember like 7 years ago when Ubisoft was like, sorry, we can't make a female assassin. It's too hard to do women's bodies.
We got to animate a whole new body. We can't do it.
We can't. How do we? Oh, what? We only bought the man mesh off of the internet. Anyway, GTA 6 will feature a female playable protagonist and takes place in and around Miami, aka Vice City, according to a new report. Bloomberg reports that a Latina woman will be one of 2 leading characters in the game, and the story is influenced by the infamous bank robbers Bonnie and Clyde. Interest peaked. The report goes on to say that Rockstar will, quote, continually update GTA 6 over time to add new missions and even entire cities on a regular basis. It added that GTA 6 will have even more interior locations than past GTA games. And finally, developers told Bloomberg that GTA 6 is probably at least 2 years away, putting its potential release date some point in 2024 at the soonest. This sounds like it's not GTA 6 plus many, many DLCs. This sounds like, to me, Rockstar is figuring out how to merge GTA 5 and GTA Online into one ever-evolving game that they continue to make money off of for 20 years. I don't really understand the difference between GTA 5 and GTA Online or how that would work in the future, but it sounds like that's kind of the direction they want to head, is GTA 6 is this thing that continually gets updated and added to as often as Online does, and they can find a way to get money from you all over again.
It's like it's not even a video game anymore. It's like a service. Yeah. They could call it something like a service game or like, I know, a game as a service.
Maybe a living.
Think about
it. So they can abbreviate it as GAS. Games as Service. GAS. Yeah. Gas. Give me that gas.
Obviously, this story was all over the internet. I'm surprised that more people didn't latch onto the game story being influenced by Bonnie and Clyde. Like, spoiler alert, things did not end well for Bonnie and Clyde in real life. Are we to expect that the same thing is going to happen to the Latina woman and her partner in this game?
We'll find out with the new missions and new cities if you're playing as ghosts, as spooky ghosts.
Ooh.
Or maybe you're playing as zombies, or maybe you're playing in hell.
Oh, man, that'd be fun.
What if the new city is the upside down of Miami?
Oh.
Oh.
Imani.
Imani.
You just flip it around. That's what it is.
Shut up. You're so stupid. I love it. All right, yeah, so it looks like everyone's going to be playing GTA 5 for at least a few more years. But when this comes out, they got big plans.
I really do like the idea of new cities. Like, that's what everyone was talking about. Like, wouldn't it be cool if GTA Online just did that? And they're like, hey, how about 6? How about we do it in 6? Because 5 is based on a game from the Xbox 360. We can't do that. But this new one will be able to.
Speaking of things that go on forever and get lots of development and GAS, Wakanda Forever, the game. Steve Watts from GameSpot. See that? See the thread that I just pulled there? Our whole podcast is a narrative, and I am crafting it so eloquently. Reporter Jeff Grubb talked about the new game on his daily news show for GameSpot's sister site, Giant Bomb. According to Grubb, it will be an open-world, single-player game, huzzah, and something of an origin story. It takes place after the previous Black Panther has died, spoilers for real life, so players must take on the challenge of becoming the new Black Panther. It's very early in development, so no release window was given. The new game has been codenamed Project Rainier. Is that how you say that? Rainier? Rainier? What's the mountain in Seattle?
I think Rainier.
Rainier. Got it. And it's coming from EA. Grubb said that this is likely the debut project from a Seattle studio. Oh, see? Founded by former Monolith Productions VP and studio head Kevin Stevens. Under Kevin Stevens, Monolith made the licensed Lord of the Rings games Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor and its sequel, Shadow of War, which are two generally very well-respected games.
By the way, I have no clue if that's how Rainier is pronounced for this particular project. That's just how it's pronounced in French. Don't take my word on this.
In the upside down, it would be called Rainier.
I was going to do that joke, Chad, but I decided not to because of the way you acted to my last one.
Oh, got it. Okay, so just make it known to everyone that I swoop for the lower hanging fruit, and you're too good for it.
Like a stone fruit.
Like avocados.
Ooh, like an avocado.
Like a Sprigata avocado. The grass rock evolution.
Does this excite you?
I got a pitch. It sort of excites me.
Yeah.
I got a pitch on what this game could be. So, like, in the days since the news about this game existing came out, I feel like we've seen two different lines of thought on the internet as to what this could be. Line number one is that you play as T'Challa from the Marvel Comics continuity and from the MCU movies shortly after the death of his father, T'Chaka. Line of thinking number two is that you basically play as like a blank character, a custom build a character who takes on the role of Black Panther after T'Challa or T'Chaka died. I think, however, that there is potential in this being a Black Panther game in which you play as T'Chaka, T'Challa's father, after his own father dies, circa the 1940s, 1950s era. Many years ago, back when Black Panther wasn't like a super relevant Marvel Comics character, Christopher Priest basically brought Black Panther as a character to kind of like really kind of stardom within the Marvel Comics continuity, kind of completely kind of refined his character for the 90s, and I would say is like largely the man responsible for him even being part of like the kind of modern day MCU, and other modern authors like Ta-Nehisi Coates taking him up. And there's a moment in that run where Captain America, in the middle of World War II, goes to Wakanda and basically has a confrontation with young T'Chaka, who at the time is the King of Wakanda and the Black Panther. And I think that there's a kind of real potential in basically having a Black Panther game set during that era, because you can have the Black Panther interacting with all of the kind of Marvel heroes that are contemporary to that era, contemporary to Captain America. But at the same time, the thing about Wakanda is that canonically, it's a nation that has always been a little bit ahead of the rest of the world. It's always had futuristic advanced technology that has put every other nation in the world to shame, which means that you can still have all of the cool little like scientific-y stuff that you've come to expect from being in Wakanda. You can still have airships, you can still have all sorts of high-tech transportation systems, a kind of rudimentary form of the internet even, despite it being set in the past.
That seems dope. Like that. I'm into that. And I would love a whole host of like costumes inspired by that era too. I think that would be freaking awesome.
Like 50s, 60s inspired costumes. Yeah, that'd be cool.
I fully acknowledge it's a little bit of a long shot, but I think there's potential.
I definitely think it's not going to be MCU adjacent, like maybe inspired, just because that's what the Marvel games do, but they're never just like Chadwick Boseman's dead, so the game starts and T'Challa's dead, and you're in the new. I don't think they're gonna do any of that. So yeah, anything. Yeah, his dad taking over would be cool. Yeah, any of that cool. I just like the idea of open world game, melee based game by the people who made fucking those awesome Middle Earth games.
Yeah.
And what Black Panther's a really cool character. So any direction they take it, I'd be happy with when we see this game in 5 years.
There's a little bit of hesitation in me that we have Spider-Man, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man, Werewolf Bar Mitzvah. Being made by Insomniac. We also have Wolverine being made by Insomniac, which I think it's safe to assume, given Insomniac's history and the Spider-Man games, that it's a single-player open-world game with a main character who's acrobatic and punches and claws things a lot, similar to Spider-Man, who's acrobatic and punches and kicks. And then having another character in a single-player open-world game whose main form of fighting is punching and kicking and being acrobatic. Like I'm a little worried that it might feel like a reskin of like every superhero single player game now feels kind of the same, just with a different costume on. So I obviously this is still, it's leaked, it's a rumor, we haven't seen gameplay, we don't know much about it at all, but like there's a little bit of hesitation in me. It's like I don't want us to fall down that route of everything just being the same combat, the same mission structure, everything's the same, just with a different character in it. That's me just being a negative Nancy.
No, I mean, you're right. I mean, Batman is also as well. It's like
Batman.
I mean, honestly, it's a lot of comics where it's either I shoot high-tech weapons or I punch people real hard.
It's difficult because people aren't allowed to kill people in video games. So it's like you can't just fucking shoot people with guns and cannons and shit unless you're Deadpool. And
yeah,
that game was okay.
Maybe, I'm sure they'll have some kind of gimmick that'll make it stand out. We'll see.
So we've got a few more stories here left. First one being all about how Adam was right in a bad way. Sadly, Adam was 100% right. This comes from Matt Kim at IGN. Development on the upcoming remake of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic has been paused indefinitely after what appears to be a disappointment over the current progress of the RPG. According to Bloomberg, Texas-based studio Aspire's recent internal demo of the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic demo didn't land well as it could have, as well as it could have when it was shown to Lucasfilm and Sony. This has led to Aspire telling employees that the project would be put on pause, and here's the killer: the company would look for, quote, new contracts and development opportunities. So it's not just like, hey, we're going to put pause and figure out a new direction. It's like, let's find you other things to work on. Additionally, Aspyr fired the remake's art director, Brad Prince, and design director, Jason Miner. The latter reportedly said on social media channels that the dismissal was unexpected. While Aspyr's future involvement in the project remains unclear, Aspyr's parent company, Embracer, announced in May that Saber Interactive would assist on the project, and some Aspyr employees believe Saber may take over the project completely. Yeah, I'd say at best it's getting completely rebooted from the ground up because Sony and Lucasfilm said, no thank you, we don't like what we see, do it different. And so Saber's going to be like, all right, start from the ground up, or it's just scrapped completely, and we're not going to see it ever again. Which has me bummed. Well, yeah, Adam, you were right.
Well. Look at this. I was right, everybody.
The turntables.
Turn them tables and bring out the DJ. It sucks to see, because again, this game is amazing, and I would love a modern version of it. But just from jump, I was like, ooh, I don't trust this team to do it. And then apparently in this report, they're like, here's what we have. And they're like, oh, no.
Yeah.
No, that is not going to work. Which I would rather... Again, it sucks for developers. I don't want anyone to go fall on hard times. But if Lucasfilm and Sony are like, nah, that's not going to cut it. Again, I hope it's not canceled completely. But yeah, let's have someone do it good, so we don't get a really bad version of an awesome game that is just an old game that's hard to play. So I hope for the best. That's probably going to be a while before this game comes out, but that's fine as long as it's good, and it will no longer be the number 7 will surprise you on my list. So I guess that's where we at.
Hot PS5 updates. I'm sorry.
I got a question. Alex, you ever played KOTOR?
No, I have not.
Oh, man.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, you're good. It's a very good video game.
Yeah, I played like 30 minutes on an iPad, and I said, this is too old.
Nope. It's old, yeah.
If they re-released... Wait, have they already re-released the KOTOR games? Like, not like as like fancy schmancy remakes, but like just the original. Have they done it? Have they re-released them on PlayStation 5 or 4?
I know they're on Switch and PC. I don't know where else.
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird. I remembered that 2 is on Switch because there was that news story about how there was like a game-breaking bug halfway through. I wonder if they all...
Aspyr. That was all Aspyr. Aspyr did all those bad ports.
Yeah. I do wonder if they'll even ever put those games on PlayStation, given that this game supposedly is still imminent. But then again, they re-released the original version of Final Fantasy VII ahead of remake, so... Yeah, I don't know. There is a not impossible chance that within the next couple of years, I will actually play through the original version of this game if it gets re-released eventually on PS4/5. But don't 1,000% count on it, unless maybe it's like a barf game or something, in which case...
That's what I was going to say. We just got to make it a barf game, and then you'll play through every Star Wars game leading up to it.
That's true.
I mean, yeah, maybe.
Speaking of PlayStation, hot PS5 updates from Eddie McCooch at GameSpot. You got to talk like this if you want to be in the pictures, kid. No extra. A new PlayStation 5 system software beta test is coming soon. I won't read the rest of it like that, I'm sorry. That adds some highly requested features and functionality to the system, including... For all you PC nerds out there who just put your PS5 on your desk with your PC, 1440p support. And game lists, which appear to address the PS5's need for folders. Right now, these features are limited to beta testers, and if you're a part of the beta program, check your email. You got an invite. But Sony says it plans to launch the update to the global user base later this year. With those caveats out of the way, the PS5 beta update adds 1440p HDMI video output to compatible TVs and monitors if the game you're playing supports that resolution. And as for game lists, it's kind of like folders almost. You can now create a game list in your game library, so you can say dope games, and you can put God of War in there, and and Last of Us Part 2, and you can put bad games, and you can put anything Aspyr made in that folder, and so you know not to touch that.
I was wondering where you're going to go with that one. Yeah. I appreciate the Aspyr knock.
Yeah. And then you can put games I can't wait to play, and don't put anything in there because they haven't come out yet. And obviously you haven't bought anything without the ability to play it yet, right? Right?
Yeah. You couldn't put it in a folder.
Yeah, but every time you buy a game, you play it immediately and finish it. That's how gaming works. That's we're gamers. That's what we do.
Yeah.
So nothing would be in that folder. So game lists can support up to 100 games, and users can have up to 15 lists for a total of 1,500 games. And if you buy more games than that, then they go into an unlisted category, I assume. Finally, go grab Steve. Sexually, says Amelia Zollner at IGN. Nearly 2 years. Actually, this could be sexually because it wasn't Steve grabbing his meat in the Switch
at the very
Smash
yes.
Bros. Yeah.
For the first week, he was holding meat in front of his penis, and it looked like he was holding his dick.
That's exactly right.
That's right.
That's right. Grab Steve's meat and his avocados. Nearly 2 years after Minecraft, Steve joined the DLC roster of Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's been fucking 2 years? Oh my god.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And his female counterpart, Alex, both of their amiibos will finally reach store shelves on September 9th. This is wild to me. So picking and choosing, like cherry picking some things here. They've said every fighter in Smash Bros. Ultimate will get an amiibo.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that it takes so long to create and release an amiibo is bonkers to me. I could design a toy, and I have a toy printing right now on my 3D printer. Nintendo has a lot of 3D printers, I'm sure.
When I saw this announcement on Twitter, I was reminded of the fact that back when Masahiro Sakurai did his little Smash Directs, usually they would begin with him being like, oh, hey, by the way, the amiibo of the character we announced 3 Directs ago is finally available to play in a month from now. So go check that out.
Yeah, that's wild. So initially, the Amiibo was announced for a spring 2022 release, but they were delayed to later in 2022 due to logistics and production delay. COVID, man, and the fucking ship blocking the canal.
Yep, that's what it was.
Now that Minecraft's Amiibo collection is finally has a release date, Nintendo is nearing the end of its Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Amiibo line. After Steve, the final ones left are Sephiroth. That's going to be in order for me. Pyra and Mithra, Kazuya, and Sora. And the final character added to Smash Ultimate. It is still unclear if Sora will receive an amiibo, however.
Guess there was no official announcement for Sora?
He did it. I mean, granted, this was like 4 years ago, but he did say every character will get an amiibo.
Yeah. But then they also were like, hey, in 4 years, do people care about amiibos still? Here we are getting Steve in September.
I have a whole wall of amiibos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 amiibos. I have 5 GameStop knockoff Totakus. For the PlayStation, what? I have one for the Bloodborne Hunter, Atreus and Kratos, and Aloy and the little bot that she rides.
Yeah.
Those are no longer in production.
Hold on a second.
They are very ugly versions of Amiibo. Like you get it and you're like, this is the Chinese knockoff.
GameStop literally used a 3D printer and we're like, hey, why don't we do our own?
And they put it on like a 0.2 millimeter setting, so it's like a draft version.
They remind me of like the very first run of Amiibo where like Samus Aran was like tilted over and like Donkey Kong had like the piss stand that he was standing on.
Blocks. Yeah.
Yeah, they were not good. Especially like if you can find one with Kratos' face on it, it's like, who the hell is that?
Boy. I was making a long face for the audio listeners.
He probably doesn't say boy. That one probably says young man.
Kiddo.
License wise, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for our news stories. Next up, we've got a segment from Adam. Segment from Adam. Yeah.
Here we go. Look at the timing on this one, right? My segment from Adam this month is going to be this week. This episode is where I do the best games of the month. At the end of the month, I'm like, hey, what are the best games? This list surprisingly long. I normally go down from top to 80, everything that came out in the month, or at the very, very end of June, as with the very first game because it came out the last day of June. But this pretty interesting month. This is so we can keep track of game of the year stuff for the end of the year. So everyone pay attention to this. I'm keeping notes. I'm not just doing these for fun and deleting them. Number 1. Cuphead, Delicious Last Course at a 92 on Metacritic. Best rated game of the month. Technically came out June 30th, but again, I wouldn't have said it on the last episode. Still haven't played it, but very excited to.
Same.
Cuphead's a very good game. 92. Think about that in game of the year. 92.
Yeah.
For Cuphead DLC. Next up, Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Oh, I was about to say, is there XCOM 3 for real? How did I miss
3 is out. It would not be an 89. It would probably be like a 97. But no, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is an 89 for the month. But not a thing that I care about. Never been a Xenoblade guy, but those nerds really like that game, and it's good that it came out.
So, like, so impressive that it managed to score that highly. Like
high.
Knowing, the series past legacy, I expected, okay, this will, be another banger. Wasn't expecting to be this much of a banger. So good on them.
Yeah, 89 on Metacritic is hard to come by. Like Metacritic is stingy passing out the good what do you call them, numbers.
That's higher than any Pokemon game that we talked about last week.
It is?
Yep.
It is.
That's wild. Forza 5 Hot Wheels DLC at an 85.
Good.
That's number 3. Very cool. I love Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels and Legos. Good time. Stray.
El Gato.
That cat game, El Gato Avocado Oblongata, is an 84.
Shut up.
Whoa.
The cat game, 84. That's even higher than you were. I mean, you weren't putting points on your score, but that's a little higher than you were thinking, probably, Alex, right?
Yeah, I'd say so. I feel like that's pretty appropriate for that game.
Yeah, I would. If I had to guess, it'd be like low 80s, high 70s, but 84. I'm like, that's respectable. It got more love than I assumed that it did. Azure Striker Gunvolt 3 at an 83. Only reason I put this here is because it had the score, and I remember listening to a podcast and them talking about the first game. Like, this is a really cool video game, and they got the third one out already. I ain't never heard of the second one, but I think it's just like a retro style shooter thing. I don't know.
Oh, it's anime titties.
Oh, it's an anime titty game.
No, sorry. When you Google Azure Gunvolt 3, the second picture that comes up is something called Kohaku and Null Newly Drawn B2 Tapestry with anime titties on it. But then the actual game art is just people who are like, cool, I'm going to take those characters and draw them with anime titties.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. Escape Academy at an 82, which I know people have had fun with. I need to play it because I do like escape rooms. One of my favorite movie franchises, Escape Room 1 and 2. I have not seen 2 yet. F1 2022 is an 82. It's a racing game.
What happened? There was an event sometime in the last 4 months it's like when everyone pretends that they cared about the World Cup the whole time, but it's just around the world. And then I have never heard anyone give a shit about F1. Like, Chris Hemsworth even made an F1 movie and no one saw it. Chris Hemsworth made it and no one saw it.
Oh, yeah.
And now everyone can't stop talking about F1. It's all over Hinge. It's all over Twitter. And everyone's like, I've loved F1 my whole life. What happened?
Summertime. People get horny for... People watch Cornhole in the summertime because there's nothing to watch. So they're just like, Cornhole, F1, women's soccer. I love all of it, you know? Even though that wasn't
For those of you who aren't
the
from the South,
England.
Cornhole is when you toss beanbags into the little holes.
Did people not know what cornhole is?
Cornhole is also a euphemism for eating buttholes. But
it's like the avocado thing. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
But no, yeah, people. There's like a certain group of people who were always into it. Like they'd get up at 6 a.m. on a fucking Sunday and watch F1. But it was like one guy out of 30. And now it's, 15 guys out of 30 love F1. Whatever. The video game's all right, apparently. And Live Alive, or is it Live Alive? Live Alive.
Live Alive?
Live Alive.
Live Alive at an 82. Chad, you said you were interested in this. I guess you just never picked it up. But this, you were like, that art style's cool.
I have purchased it. It is on my Switch, but I have not turned on my Switch in 1,000 years. So, but now that I'm playing FFOPR, FFOPR, Final Fantasy 1 Pixel Remaster, it's got me itching for that again. So I'm like, am I going to play that? Or do I go back and play Final Fantasy 7 so that I can prepare for Crisis Core? Because I'm probably not going to play Live Alive and then Final Fantasy 7, the original, and then Crisis Core. That's a lot of JRPGs back to back to back.
I think Live Alive's not super long, though. I think that one's
You're
only
right.
like
It's like 7
hours?
stories. It's like short vignettes, I think, too, which is interesting to me. But yeah, I'm still interested in it. I just got to figure out where I'm going to slot it in.
Very cool. And that's everything that's above an 80 for this month. So if we had to pay attention, guys, we're thinking ahead. Game of the year for us. Is there anything that needs to be played? Again, if I cared about Xenoblade, or if I had a Switch, maybe it would be necessary, but that's not a thing for me. Cuphead, I think, is the only thing on here that I absolutely have to play for Game of the Year stuff. Outside of that, it's just like, I'll have fun with that. But, like, Stray was fun, but I don't think that's going to be on the Game of the Year list. Maybe indie category, but I don't know.
My Xenoblade story is, back in the day, I participated in the Operation Rainfall thing, if you guys remember that. That was
No.
where Nintendo fans were basically petitioning Nintendo in the year 2011, because 2011 was such a barren year for the Wii that like there was just basically nothing in sight to play. And so people were like, hey, over in Japan, the Wii got these 3 games. They got Xenoblade Chronicles, they got The Last Story from Hironobu Sakaguchi's studio Mistwalker, and they got Pandora's Tower, which is like a weird, like kind of Castlevania inspired action game from a studio that made like a bunch of One Piece games. And so they petitioned to have Nintendo bring these 3 games over to the West via like a lot of like mailing campaigns and internet stuff. I participated in those things, and I actually followed through. I actually purchased all 3 games new when they actually came over here, so I could say after the fact, hey, I actually put my money where my mouth was. Of those 3 games, Xenoblade was the only one I actually played. I played about 6 hours of it, and I'm like, this game is like pretty cool. It actually has like pretty good production values, and like I would say overall was a worth game bringing over here to the West. But this combat isn't really speaking to me. Now, I know that Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is like pretty divorced from the stories of 1 and 2, but I'm kind of a completionist, and I'm the kind of guy that would really appreciate having played 1 or 2 beforehand to get the most out of the little nods and callbacks to 1 and 2 and 3. So yeah, not sure about that. I'm actually pretty likely to play Live Alive, though, because I've been told that that game is like actually not very long, that like each individual segment in which you travel to a different time and location in that game is like pretty short. So yeah, I'd say that's the only one I'm like guaranteed to check out before the year is over.
According to How Long to Beat, Live Alive is 18 hours and 23 minutes on average for the main story, 24 hours and 23 minutes for the main story plus extras.
Which, like, 18 hours, like, that's, kind of long compared to maybe a lot of the other games we play on a daily basis. But for, like, an old school JRPG is, like, very reasonable.
Yeah. Side note, little caveat here. You were talking about Operation Rainfall.
Yeah.
And if you do a Google image search for Operation Rainfall, you see very quickly a movie poster for Occupation Rainfall, Bring the Rain. Which came out last year, has Ken Jeong in the back of the poster from Community and Hangover fame. So I'm interested in this movie now. So thank you, Alex, for bringing that into my life.
I always remember when you talk about Operation Rainfall. Well, first of all, when you were playing Xenoblade Chronicles 1, I was going to say he's really feeling it, but apparently you weren't really feeling it, because that is a classic Shulk line from Super Smash Brothers. But I remember that being, I don't know if I was working at GameStop or this was after I quit, but I remember that being a big deal where it's like, if you want the physical version of Xenoblade Chronicles 1 on Wii, you have to go to GameStop to get it. I remember it being exclusive to like GameStop and like Nintendo World stores. And then that game being like very expensive if you didn't buy it in like that first month. Like all the used copies were like fucking $80 or something when games were like $60. So yeah, I remember all that.
Yeah, I think for Game of the Year, I'm going to definitely play Cuphead DLC, Delicious Last Course. I still want to play Stray, especially knowing how short it is. I want to play Stray, and I'll probably get to live alive before the end of the year, too. And who knows, maybe the wave will hit me, too, and I'll become an F1 fan, and I'll play F1 22. So,
Game of the Year.
Game of the Year,
Respawn Fire, F1 2022. That'd be great. That's it for my segment, though.
All right. That brings us to Game On Game Show. The Game On Our Gaming Show, we play a game called Game On, the gaming show on our game show. Game. You're right. I flipped it that time. I said game show on our gaming show. No, I said Game On, the gaming show on our game show. That's what I said. It's wrong. That's flipped. Because Game On is the game show on our gaming show.
Wait. Is it not gang show? We're a gang show? Gang.
We do not promote gang violence.
Man. I do.
Gucci gang. We are playing this week, Guess What Happened This Week? Which is a game where we take historically what has happened, significant events in video game history this particular week in time, and I make up little clues about them, and you guess what it is. It could be a person, a system, I already said person. It could be a game. It could be all sorts of things, video game related. So I have 5 of them. There are 2 of you here, which is great, because now it's a competition. Gucci gang in the chat. Whoa, who wrote that? Oh, it was Adam Gumby wrote that in the chat.
Cool guy.
So we've got 5 here. Here's how it's going to work. I'm going to read the whole clue, and then I'm going to say go. When I say go, I want you to do something visually to show me that you think you have an answer, because this is going to be a competition now. All right, Adam's going to flip us off. Alex, what is your visual clue that you have an answer? All right, you're going to make a little heart sign. Perfect. Heart or a butt. It depends on how you look at it. So here's what we're going to do. So I say the name, I say the date. So the first one, spoilers, is today, July 31st. I'll give you the year, and I'll read the clue. As soon as the clue is done, I will say go, and then you do your thing. You have one guess.
Yeah.
If you guess it wrong, you don't get to guess a second game. The other person gets a chance to steal it. Here we go. 5 things. July 31st, 1981.
Oh, boy.
The birth of video games' most recognizable icon, Smash Bros.' most OP item, and the origin of the sex euphemism, quote, bend them over a barrel and show them the 50 states. Go.
Oof. Like,
Lots of squished faces going on. Like, ooh.
Yeah, those clues were...
The birth of video games' most recognizable icon is the first part of the clue. I've already said go, yep. So if you get it while I'm talking, do your little symbol. And then think about the date. This is July 31st, 1981. It also is the birth of Smash Bros.' most OP item.
That's the item thing is what's getting me confused.
And then, of course, this one's just thrown in for fun. Bend them over a barrel. Alex, I see a little butt.
So, is it the release of Donkey Kong, the arcade game in North America?
It is the release of Donkey Kong. I don't know if it's America specifically, but it just says Donkey Kong arcade cabinet. So, yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Congratulations.
So the whole bit about the most OP item in Smash Bros. Tripped me up too, but then I remembered in that game, Mario is able to wield hammers. In fact, that's the game that, the hammers from Smash Bros. Come from. They function exactly the way they do there that they do in Smash. So there we go.
Yeah, I was stuck on it being a Pac-Man reference. I'm like, what Pac-Man item is there? But I didn't. Yeah, that's what it was.
And of course, you jump over barrels, and I just really wanted an excuse to use the line from Horrible Bosses, bend them over a barrel and show the 50 states.
Yeah.
All right.
Fun fact, real quick, 1981, also the same year that Wolfenstein debuts. Back before it was 3D, when it was like all top down and 2D.
Wolfenstein. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wolfenstein. Hello, my name is Wolfenstein. Next up, August 2nd, 1992.
Oh boy.
Here's your clue. This was probably let me back up. This was probably the first time someone was allowed to tell you to finish him or finish her in public. Go. Adam.
Mortal Kombat, baby.
Mortal Kombat. Yes, it is. And specifically, it is the arcade cabinet because it wasn't in public. So, 1992.
I waited a second too late to wonder if, is it possible that Chad is, talking about the release of Mortal Kombat 2 or Mortal Kombat 3? Shouldn't have overthought it.
I almost was going to say Mortal Kombat 2, but I'm like, I'm just going to say 1 just to be safe. Because that was the one that blew up was 2. But I'm just like, I'll just say 1. Yeah.
August 3rd. So right now we're tied, right? Yes, we're tied. 1-1.
Sure.
August 3rd, 1970. Ooh.
God, I wasn't even alive.
Video games? Did they exist back then? Here's your clue. Today, you'd recognize him by his propensity to play fighting games against himself with 2 controllers at once, or by his Fire Emblem fetish. But on this day in 1970, you'd probably recognize him as the baby who's crowning his way out of his mom. I'm going to say go, but Alex already had his butt up. Alex.
Is it the birthday of Masahiro Sakurai?
It is the birth of Masahiro Sakurai. That's right. Designer and director for Kirby series, Smash Bros., and Kid Icarus Uprising.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations and happy birthday this week. All right, August 5th, 1995. This one, the clue is a song.
Great.
I don't know if I can sing it.
You can sing it.
It's not as funny, but I've been singing it. I sang it for an entire hour before the podcast just to make sure that I remembered the melody.
Okay.
God. Okay, keep a straight face. Jesus loves the little children, the crying children on his back. Red and yellow, black and white, any color Jesus that you like. Only difference is that Jesus is a dinosaur this time.
Okay. Great song.
That certainly was a clue.
So Jesus is the dinosaur this time. Now that you have that context, the beginning of it might be a better clue for you. 1995. Yeah. Jesus loves the little children, the crying children on his back. Red and yellow, black and white, any color Jesus that you like. Only difference is that Jesus is a dinosaur this time.
Is this like the song that would play during the trailer for this game?
No, this is a church
to play on words
song that you would, like a little hymn you'd sing. I sang it in preschool because I went to preschool at a Catholic church because that was the only free place.
I have an idea, but it's not a video game, so I don't know.
Okay.
How that would help.
I'll give you a clue. It is the sequel to a hit Super Nintendo game.
I'm just gonna say it. I have no idea.
Adam.
Chrono Trigger?
Not Chrono Trigger. No.
Or is that the first one and Chrono Cross is the second? I don't remember. I don't play those games.
Chrono Cross is the second one, yeah.
Okay.
So here I'll emphasize this clue. Jesus is a dinosaur, and you can play as a Jesus, a dinosaur, that is red or yellow or black, any color that you like.
Damn, I fucked up. I know what it is now.
Oh, there's a crying child on his back. And Jesus loves that little child. Alex.
Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island.
That is correct. Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island in Japan. This got released.
Man, I really... that Jesus bit really messed us all up. We're like, what? Like is this like
have that growing up?
No.
I also had that growing up. The minute he starts singing, I'm like, I know the song. Yeah.
Do they have Jesus in Canada?
In Canada?
Yeah, they do. Okay. But,
it's the hymns.
In Christian tradition here, he actually turned water into maple syrup.
Maybe you guys just don't indoctrinate all your children when they're 4 years old. Chad, originally when you were singing it, I was like, is this some sort of Power Rangers game? Because you started saying all the colors of the Power Rangers.
All the colors of the Power
Rangers. And the dinosaurs, I'm like, come on,
Power Rangers. Okay, I can see how that could be misleading, yeah.
Yeah.
Continue. All right, final one. So right now we're at, what are we at?
3-1.
3-1. All right, so Adam, you lose no matter what. August 6th.
I mean, I could, if you want, we can make this one count for 4.
This is for all the money. This one actually counts as 20. This counts for 20.
Oh, that mattered.
Yeah.
Wow.
August 6th, 1986. Here's your clue. It was a girl the whole time. Go. Adam.
Metroid.
That is correct. Metroid. In Japan, here's a cool new thing I never knew. In Japan, Metroid released on the Famicom Disk System, which was an additional add-on to the Famicom that added a floppy disk reader and also added, I think it was like 16 kilobits of RAM. So it was just like the expansion pack on N64, added more RAM. So yeah, this was a thing that you did this. It allowed it to play Metroid on floppy disks rather than a cartridge, which is what the US got, was the cartridge-based one. So the Japan one ran better.
Yeah. By the way, Alex, I'm not taking a victory from you. I'm like the bad guy in a sports movie where after you beat me and I was the antagonist the whole time, and now I respect you. That's what we're doing.
Aw, yeah. I appreciate that. That being said, I should have gotten that one. That was pretty obvious, but I was just so... my head was in the clouds when Chad said that, so...
It's because we went straight from singing about Jesus for 30 minutes to then it's a one-liner about being a girl. What? I'm so taken aback.
Yeah, that was you were really trying to catch us off guard there.
In the chat, Samus was a girl. Oh, that's from Adam Gumby. Man, that guy is popping off in the chat. I love it.
I love the idea from here on out. Whenever you do this segment in the future, you give you'll start with like a really obtuse clue/hint at what the game could be, and then the next one is just like, you play as a plumber? What?
You play as a blue bomber?
He more obsessed me with the one with birthdays, because he's done that before as well. And it's like,
the voice of Mario. I was like, this is the day he crawled out of his mom's vagina.
Yeah, he crawled out of his mother, and it's like, I don't know, Chad.
In 1981, a monkey learned how to be a donkey. Who could it be?
Who taught him that? How did that knowledge get passed down through the tribe?
Must have eaten some avocados.
That's it for Game on Game Show, and that is it for episode 269, nice, of Respawn Aim Fire. You have homework, because we are bad teachers, just like Cameron Diaz in Bad Teacher.
God, what a fun movie.
That was a fun movie. I actually enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
Your homework is to go to patreon.com/respawnaimfire. And your primary thing that you can do there is to vote on our BARF games, which is Backlog Accomplishment with Respawn and Friends, where we play games in our backlog that we haven't played, that we wish we'd played, that are classics, etc., etc., etc. So we have, again, this month was Metal Wolf Chaos XD, which we'll be talking about later this week, so look for that. And then...
Richard!
Time to party! I have so many quotes written down from the first 10 minutes of the game that I was
only
like,
quotes.
Oh, God.
That game is only quotes.
So, yeah, look for that. And then for the month of August, we put up a poll. You voted. Adam, what are we playing in August?
So here's what we did. The poll is still up. So if you're not on Patreon.com/respawnaimfire, you can get on there and vote for $1. Or if you haven't, voted yet, I put this out on. So it ends on Tuesday, or I think like Wednesday, like 8 in the morning.
Okay.
So we'd have time to record our barf about Metal Wolf Chaos, and for the audio listeners to like a last reminder to go vote.
Yep.
But the entire thing is based on Alex's mom's birthday coming up in August.
I love it.
I chose to do games that I was originally going to do games that featured mothers, but there wasn't as that many. So I'm just like, I'm about a game where like women go on adventures, because being a mother or being a parent is an adventure. So it's all games where you play as a female protagonist and you go on some kind of adventure.
Got it. And that can include a doctor. Check your biases at the door. The doctor was the mom.
Right. The doctor joke about the mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
What are those 4 games that people can vote on? In case someone's like, oh my God, I'm not a patron, but if blank is on there, I definitely want to go become a patron and vote.
Good thing I have it memorized, and I'm not going to Patreon this moment. We have Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Uncharted Lost Legacy, Bayonetta, and Mirror's Edge.
Ooh, all right. 4 very bangers.
Yeah.
If you're staring down this list and you're not sure what you want to play, I am gunning for Bayonetta because I want to get more out of my Switch, and those games have always looked real fun.
Ooh,
there's not a safety mode in the old ones, so be aware. If there's jiggle or any skin, there's nothing you can do.
That's right. If you're playing Bayonetta 1 or 2, you cannot turn on those no booby modes.
Yeah, sorry.
Wow.
All right, so go vote, patreon.com/respawnaimfire. Alex, thank you again for joining us as one of our RAF regulars. Where do people find you and your pizza?
You can find me over on Twitter at AlexKozina, AlexKozina. I am just about to start a Nuzlocke run in Pokemon Leaf Green. I've set it up such that anytime somebody in my Nuzlocke run scores a crit, I have to spin what I am calling the prize wheel of criticality. And depending on where the wheel should land, I have to submit myself to whatever form of punishment it asks of me. Perhaps I'll be forced to get rid of all the money I've accumulated thus far in the game. Maybe I'll be forced to do a hot shot IRL. Maybe I'll do 5 push-ups. Maybe I'll do 10 push-ups. You'll have to tune into the stream to find out. Twitch.tv/CozyBearLive, KOZIBEARLIVE, every Monday and Thursday at 8:30 p.m. EST starting August 1st.
Dope. That sounds really fun. I kind of want to make a wheel for everything in my life now. Spin a wheel and figure out what I do today. I go to work. I call out sick. Those are the 2 options.
That's it. That's all what's on the wheel.
Go to work or call out sick. All right, everyone. Until next time, here's our usual sign-off. This week lands on call out sick.
Damn, the whole week. Shit.
Okay, so it seems like a coconut is technically a fruit, but it's not like one of them other fruits. It's actually considered a drupe, aka a stone fruit. like a peach or
stone
a
fruit.
apricot.
Droops. That was my nickname in high school.
Like an avocado, perhaps?
Yeah,
Avocado.
I'm pretty sure that's part of it.
Why do you think they like avocado? I'm going to make a wild assumption in that it was probably named by a Spanish-speaking country.
Yeah.
Avocado is so close to abogado, which is lawyer in Spanish. And I don't want to be the lawyer who goes to bat for your
about
guacamole.
To do a podcast.
Like that sounds like a terrible. Why would you put those two words so close to each other?
The medulla oblongata is the front part of the brain. Sounds like avocado.
You're right. Medulla oblongata.
Persia americana. Oh, it's an American tree.
Oh.
Of Mexico and Guatemala.
Who named avocados?
That's what I'm looking up.
When the Aztecs discovered the avocado in 500 BC, they named it ahuacatl, which translates to testicle.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It looks like.
Yeah. That makes so much sense.
An avocado is a berry. It's a massive berry.
Interesting. I'm on the Wikipedia page for stone fruit right now.
Mm-hmm.
And in the section examples of stone fruit, they have a table where one of the columns is in pop culture. And for half of the examples that they give, one of the bullet points that they list is Stardew Valley. Like it's Animal Crossing and it's Stardew Valley that comes up over and over and over again. It's like a little bit weird that has a monopoly on these things being represented in pop culture.
I mean, they're all about their gardening, you know?
Yeah. And those testicles, stone fruits. I'm going to start calling my balls my stone fruits.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's very good.
Yeah, careful. Watch
Call
out.
mine the avocados.
I got heavy, swollen stone fruits. I know I should go to the doctor, but, you know.
If they're swollen,
America,
there's definitely a problem.
We don't have free health care. This is going at the end of the episode.
Product.
This is a special.
Yeah.
This is going to be a special.
I guess we are technically
recording.
recording.
We are. Yep.
Yeah. Do you know avocado production is connected to other concerns, including environmental justice, human rights, deforestation, and organized crime? Wow. Apparently, the cartels have something to do with the avocado trade.
I mean, if avocado toast is enough to buy you a house, if you just stop eating it, I imagine it's valuable enough for the mob and organized crime.
Yeah. Interesting.
We're going to talk about GTA 6 in just a bit. Avocados are going to be a big part of that one.
Watch that be like the big heist at the end. Is they got to go get the avocados.
Yep. And it's just like a pair of avocados just sitting out on a counter.
Damn. We've hit the jackpot.
We got to get them before they're too ripe. All right. Y'all ready?
Yep.